BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So welcome to 50 Minutes of Experience. Today I'm with Enrique Medina. Welcome, Enrique.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a nice pleasure to be with you.
It's a pleasure for me too. So you are practically a Spanish architect, moved in Tokyo 3 years ago, and this is more or less what I know about you. But if you can introduce something about you, then will be more easy then to go to the next step together.
Yeah, as you told, yeah, I'm a Spanish architect. I was working for more than 25 years in hotel business related. And yeah, 3 years ago, I decided to leave all behind and move to Japan. I visited twice previously, and I felt quite attracted by this country and everything. So yeah, I started a new life, and I'm still working with architecture related. Actually, I was working for the Olympics. I already finished in the Paralympics during this time. But yeah, photography is kind of a passion for me, maybe more than 15 years ago, something like that. I started shooting more like, I'm still amateur, but I start getting more and more into this street photography kind of discipline.
I'm still amateur. It's really funny. I mean, during I watch your work on your website, listening that it's really funny. I have to say,
yeah.
It's yeah, for sure. You are not an amateur at all. I mean, you are an amateur for sure because it's a passion. You do it, and but if we have to compare your work to a professionist, I mean, there's no really difference between. And
very nice to hear. But maybe the word amateur is like to be curious about learning every single day, even if you are more serious, professional about it. But if you're still curious and every day you want to learn,
so we can say
new eyes.
We can say Deido Moriyama is an amateur.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm sure you enjoy many of his documentaries, and the way he approached photography, even when he's now 80 something, is really curious about like when he experienced the first time the digital photography a few years ago. It's like like a kid with a new toy. Like
I mean, so I'm totally agree with you about that. But I think yeah, I don't know. The word amateur, it's I mean, it's not representative of what I mean. It's a passion, and we can coin it a new word that's passionate about, and that doesn't mean that we are amateur or professionals if we get money or not. I mean, today with photography we can take money. I mean, in every way. I mean, it's important how many money we get. If we get money with photography, it's we are professionals. If we get, for example, we upload our picture in a stock market and we get €1 per month, we are professionals. Or there is a range of money that we have to overpass to say we are photographer.
Oh, maybe it's a good question. Yeah, maybe it's as far as you are free to do whatever you want. Never mind if you are amateur or professional. If you are strict to someone that in charge work, I don't know. The amateur for me is kind of you do whatever you want and you are free for doing whatever you want. If you're getting money for that one, that's perfect. That's the perfect scenario. But in my case, amateur, I do whatever I want, and sometimes I did some exhibition, something like that. I didn't get much more money about it, but
Yeah.
I still enjoy shooting on the streets, and it's a really fun, and it's a therapy for me.
It's just
So
it was just a provocation from my part to come out with an answer uh,
yeah.
more longer. But yeah, I can hear you that in a way you are losing your Spanish accent, and it's a more Japanese accent now. So that
Maybe.
watching your picture, I see that there is a lot of street photography. Yeah, the attraction for the Asian woman and some scene really in black and white. This black and white style is Japanese. But I'm really curious. Are you enjoying, for example, the food there? I mean, I would love to enjoy the food there. I would love
Uh-huh.
to come and live there. Just if I have to say only for the food, for sure. I mean, yeah, if someone has to tell me, okay, choose, you can choose food, woman, or I don't know, um, relax. I will say food so fast.
Came to my mind a kind of joke, but maybe I not. It's not time for making it.
Yeah, tell me.
But yeah, for sure. I love Japanese food. So, and it's a pleasure discovering every day. In every single izakaya, you can discover a new small fish, a new small vegetable, local, depending on the season, something like that.
Yeah,
And food here,
totally.
food here is really uh, crazy amazing. I didn't expect that people here is so crazy about food here, and they are very proud of depending on the prefecture. So depending on which people you related with, you're learning every day a new kind of eating food, even the same kind of fish, different preparation. Pork, I didn't expect that
Yeah,
pork here. They prepare it like a crazy amazing.
yeah.
So
I can imagine
yeah,
the libido you have every day when you go in the street market. And
yeah,
doing
that's
shooting all of these people, there is from one and another, there is something to eat in the
yeah,
street.
exactly.
Food will be so amazing. And I asked you that because yeah, in your picture there is a big amount of people in the street.
Hmm.
But I asked to myself, ever happen never that you shoot picture of the food you eat every day?
I used to shoot a picture of food that I eat every day, but I don't feel like sharing that kind of picture. So the picture I used to share, I don't know why, but it's kind of I like to share the energy that I feel every day when I'm shooting on the street, and the energy, even this during these fucking COVID days, I'm still getting some very positive energy in the street of Tokyo. So I like to shoot this movement, this kind of special bright of sun, this kind of brighty eyes, movement of the hands. This kind of many things related with the body of people, and then maybe now because the face is covered, but I kind of focus more in maybe some hand gesture, some legs movement,
Yeah.
some blurry things. Um, but I really attract about the energy in this town,
So
in this
I'm really
city.
curious to ask you, what is the feeling of the approach in the street in Tokyo? I mean, Tokyo is not Kyoto, is not a
Hmm.
city that you are the only one. Kaijin, it's not Kaijin. It's
Hmm.
another word I forgot. Okay, so the only one foreign, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
gaijin is for them. I'm a gaijin. Actually, it's not
yeah,
very positive word, but yeah,
yeah.
I'm a gaijin for them. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not the only stranger, the only foreign, no? So
Hmm.
and yeah, you can have probably less attention than being in Kyoto or in
Hmm.
other cities. And so how is to approach? I mean, you should sometimes pictures are really close to to the face of people, and how people react on you?
I think I'm very lucky with living in here because people usually, when you shoot in their face, is kind of not looking for any fight at all. I had some kind of anecdote, but it was maybe once every 100 picture I can get some people that is not too happy. But even if they're not too happy, they ask me, "You took my picture?" I tell them, "Yeah, I took your picture. Can I see?" I saw the picture, and usually they don't ask me for delete it. I offer, if you want me to delete it, I delete it. And they saw that in black and white. I used to take one of the magazine that I publish in Spain with the kind of my work, and I used to share with them. And I'm not a crazy guy that I'm shooting like in a very weird way. I'm proud to shooting people in their face.
Yeah.
I know that is maybe not, even I shoot with flash, so sometimes it's kind of even more provocative.
Yeah.
But it's a risk. It's a risk that I take. But maybe a different city would be even more risky. But here in Tokyo, people are really nice. In Japan, usually people are crazy about photography, and even if I'm a gaijin, foreigner here,
Yeah.
I have the excuse for pretend to be a tourist.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, yeah, for
this,
probably also a way, yeah, it's a tourist, so we don't give a fuck about him, no?
yeah, exactly. So that I use it that one as a very advantage. But usually, I know that it's risky, and sometimes I used to shoot very close, but is what I want to get the detail of the expression of a hand moving or whatever. So sometimes they don't have time to realize that they were shoot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's the way I used to like. I don't know if you read in my website, Mark Cohen. This guy, he used to shoot on the street. I think he's still alive. I think this guy. I think he's, and he used to shoot with the flash during the daylight.
Yeah, there is also, yeah, man, many
Wow.
photographers doing this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this guy, the way he's playing, the way he shoots, and during that documentary, it was changed my thought of shooting on the street, because I used to be kind of very introvert. I never thought about shooting with flash in the face of someone. But after watching that documentary, I was thinking I had to try that one. I tried it in Madrid. I'm from Madrid.
I have to say, watching your picture, I will never think you are an architect. completely the dark side.
The dark side, exactly. That's nice.
And yeah, for sure. In Madrid, what was the difference? What is the difference between Madrid and Tokyo? I think that's really big, you know, but also because you speak Spanish, so you understand more faster than in Japan. That's if someone say to you "fuck you" or something else.
In Madrid, actually, when I started shooting like that close with flash, I started using in Madrid maybe 5-6 years ago before coming to here. And I didn't shoot too much in Madrid actually, but I didn't get any bad experience in Madrid. Because it's unexpected that someone shoot with the flash in the daytime. At night, it's kind of more evident, but during the daytime, it's kind of if you are looking at people getting the sun in their face and you're shooting the flash, you have the sun in the back and the flash in their face. So it's kind of, they don't react. They don't expect that kind of behavior about some crazy guy with a camera. The camera is the Ricoh. I get the new Fuji lately, but I used to use both 50-50 every day, depending. But I have the remote flash, little flash, and it's connected with the camera. And so I have with one hand the flash and the other one the camera. So sometimes it's kind of, the light is not coming from the camera; it's coming from the different angles. So sometimes it's kind of, but you get kind of different lighting and effect. The effect of the lighting and the shooting of the angle Sometimes I like to be surprised by the shooting because I'm shooting. I'm not looking to their eyes, and when I check in the laptop, I discover something like, wow, I love this thing.
Yeah.
So I like to be surprised what I was shooting. Sometimes.
I can totally understand that feeling. Yeah, it's shooting, and then also because you shoot a lot, man. I don't know. I scroll, and then I understood that there are 2,000 posts all in one account, and then I discovered that you have other 3-4 account, and only on Instagram, and then yeah, it's I scroll, but yeah, it's never end, and I'm asking to myself, okay. How many terabytes of picture you have?
Yeah, I have a lot. Actually, I'm trying to organize all the shoot that I have, and it's a long time to shoot because I'm trying to organize shooting from 2007, some trips that I did in Istanbul, and I trying to discover some picture that oh wow, I don't remember those pictures that I have. I'm trying to filter. I shoot a lot.
In this situation, as I'm a curator and editor, I'm so curious to open your archive and see. Okay, it's like really the playground, just discovering all the piece of Lego you have inside, and what
exactly.
can I construct with your picture? You know, it's I have this feeling. It's this is what I'm doing right now, talking with you. I'm selecting some picture for some books we are organizing. We are creating that. I will propose you to do it because there
that's
are
great.
many a lot of stuff. And I was asking to myself, do you also? I do it this usually in the street. I like to shoot the trash or even the food smashed on the ground. Do you do it usually that stuff?
Yeah. Sometimes, even mainly at night. At night, there's a kind of dark street in around Shinjuku area. There's some alleys that are pretty dark. Usually, a few rats around. But there's some painting in all parkings in that area. They're painting numbers over numbers. So sometimes they paint number 3 over number 1, and you can see that after maybe 10 years they compose a new picture in the asphalt.
Yeah.
I mean, when you discover this kind of thing, it's like bingo. This is kind of, maybe they didn't decide to delete the number 1 and they paint the 3 over that maybe 10 years later. So when you discover this kind of the pass of time in the asphalt, maybe nobody cares, but sometimes you find it by chance. That's great. And even some here in Japan, because the earthquake, the buildings they are not all together. They have a kind of a small gap between them.
Okay.
Even it's not possible to a person to go inside. So there's full of garbage around.
Wow.
For trying to and you when you use the flash in this kind of a small 30 centimeters gap between those buildings, you can find a lot of stuff. So it's kind of
I can imagine because all the stuff is accumulating there for years.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
So the last things I want to ask you then, probably we can do it another podcast also in the future because I think there is a lot of stuff to talk about with you. But something that recently did you experience that in photography that in a way or another keep there in your mind and you want to share with us?
Now I'm discovering that depending on the camera, the kind of photography that you have is kind of very different point of view. Because I used to have the Ricoh GR2. I may still have it because it's very pocketable and it's a small one. It's crazy for shooting different angles, and I used to shoot with 28 millimeters. I already like the 21 millimeter conversion lens that I experienced like maybe 1 year ago, something like that. I really like it. But since I get the Fujifilm X100V, it's 35 millimeters. I like it. The quality of Fujifilm is really nice, but it's a bigger camera. But the way of holding it makes you have a kind of different photography. So it's kind of more pose photography. So this kind of feeling of depending on what you have in your hand, the shooting depending of your feeling is. I'm kind of experimenting every day, and I used to have kind of 50%, the small one 28-21 with Enrico, and sometimes when I'm more quiet and more calm, I'm more distant. I used to use the Fuji. I mean, mainly I used to shoot in black and white, but I don't know if you check the other account that I have, Bansa Yako, is Bansa Japan Color.
Yeah, I have seen already.
The color in Japan are amazing. So sometimes there's some kind of picture that are asking for color. So it's kind of, the color is really, really
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So
you
it's
have
kind of
to reserve in a way this color, no?
Yeah, but it's kind of experimenting every day, and depending on the light at night, also with the blurry thing, depending on, I don't know, it's kind of playing with your mood, and it's kind of trying to discover every day when you're going out to taking pictures, like you are amateur again, and you are learning again, and you, depending on your feeling, you shoot whatever you feel.
Yeah, I totally get the point. So I thank you a lot, Enrique, to your time to talk with us and about your experience.
My
And
pleasure.
I told you it will be nice to continue our talk in the near
When you wish.
future and talk about different stuff. I'm curious to ask you many other stuff, so then I invite you again.
Right.
And but for this time, I thank you a lot, and everyone who wants
Perfect.
the work of Enrique. Yeah, there are thousands of links will be in the description.
That's right.
I mean, I want to say that you can spend probably 2-3 days watching only Instagram, and then you discover there is a 500 pixel the website and so on. And I cannot imagine to discover also the architecture part because But thank you a lot for your time, and
thank you too.
see you in the next podcast.
Okay, see you soon, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to collaborate with you guys.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/BerlinExplorer or visit our Instagram and follow BerlinExplorer project.